Hello and welcome to an LAT market snapshot. As the dust settles after the weekend of the French election, with President Macron winning a second round of presidential election with 58.6% vote versus Marine Le Pen's 41.4%, I thought it was a good opportunity to have a look back through euro dollar and have a look and see how the market shaped up ahead of that presidential election and then the outcome since that news. Some interesting technical analysis to observe. We'll start with a 4-hour chart here on euro dollar. We can see that strong resistance level coming in around the 109.35.40 region. An increase in intensification of selling pressure off that level multiple times. First time through here, second time breaking to new lows, third time once again impulsive move lower, breaking to new lows. Now ahead of the election coming into the tail end of last week, we'd seen a sell-off from that same level, moving lower, breaking down through this monthly pivot point and holding just above, holding firm above the lows of the week, which were trading down at 107.60 in around that region. Now, back in 2017, certainly a Macron victory was seen as a positive note for the euro, and that was the same again this time around. So when markets opened, euro dollar opened 10 o'clock Sunday evening, we did see this spot 2-4% gap up. The initial news was positive. However, that gap up ran into immediate headwinds. We saw resistance from the highs back in Friday, where once again we'd seen that strong sell-off breaking back down through the lows, and it also happened to gap up straight into this week's pivot point, which fell nicely in line with that resistance. So that gap immediately filled. The market came back down, breaking through this counter trend line. We had an excellent first, second, third, fourth, 5 touches on this counter trend line before breaking, retesting, with multiple selling opportunities. Those which were up to see the open, that 10 o'clock open on the Sunday, had opportunities to be short from these highs and that pivot point. Alternatively, those trying to trade through the evening and through the morning had an opportunity on the break of this key support level and the break of the counter trend line. And then of course, once London, the European trading session took hold at 7 o'clock, we saw an opportunity for further selling pressure, and that positivity is stamped out here. We saw the escalation of lockdowns throughout China and a continuation of the risk off flows, which just gave dollar again a move lower. There's also sort of a lack of confidence behind Emmanuel Macron's presidential campaign and his commitments going forward into his second term. Knock-on effect, a short-term gap to the top side, very much in line with 2017, but we didn't then see the follow-through. Geopolitical factors and other fundamental drivers here, such as the COVID rises and lockdowns in China, resulting in continued risk-off moves, dollar strengthening, and euro dollar now breaking down through those lows, through the 107.60 marker, and on its way down. We did find some temporary support in and around the S1 weekly pivot point, but again this morning we've seen a slight move lower before a bit of a bounce back, a bit of a recovery for now. But the continued sell-off in euro dollar remains an interesting opportunity, whilst fundamentally driven. A huge amount of technical opportunities to have got involved in this trade. We've seen clear support and resistance, interesting use with the pivot points both monthly and weekly. The one level to note but I didn't mention was the 108 round number, which also provide us with that second entry down through the break of those lows. So nice support resistance, good use of moving averages, pivot points, round numbers, counter trend lines, and of course the fundamentals there also to support this market continuing to the downside. That's all from us. Please join us for another market snapshot further in the week.